President Obama is finishing his second day in Japan while keeping an eye on China and Russia. Right now, he's attending a state dinner hosted by Japan's prime minister. The president said today that the U.S. and Japan must work better together. He also raised the possibility of new sanctions if Russia doesn't pull back in Ukraine. Major Garrett is traveling with the president in Tokyo. Major, good morning.
Good morning. The crisis in Ukraine overshadowed President Obama's efforts to reassert U.S. military clout here in Asia. In the face of what he called continued Russian defiance and provocations, Mr. Obama said he is inching closer to imposing a new round of economic sanctions. President Obama said a new front in the economic war with Moscow could be opened in a matter of days.
We have been preparing for the prospect that we're going to have to engage in further sanctions. Those are teed up. It requires some technical work, and it also requires coordination with other countries. So the fact that I haven't announced them yet doesn't mean that they haven't been prepared and teed up.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said he had confidence in the U.S. president's approach to Ukraine, but Mr. Obama expressed real doubts Russian President Vladimir Putin would change course.
So far, at least, they have not chosen the wise path. I understand that additional sanctions may not change Mr. Putin's calculus. That's possible. How well they change his calculus in part depends on not just us applying sanctions, but also the cooperation of other countries.
The president said Moscow can avoid sanctions by simply following through on pledges to ease up on Ukraine's fragile transitional government and allow free elections on May 25th.
It wouldn't require a radical shift. It would require the kinds of steps that, on paper at least, they already agreed to as recently as last week. There are tensions here as well. Mr. Obama came out strongly in defense of Japan, warning China that the United States would defend against any Chinese effort to seize disputed islands in the East China Sea that Japan has long considered its own. The president also called North Korea both dangerous and predictably provocative, adding that the South Korean government and the government here in Japan can rely on U.S. military protection. Charlie?
Major, thanks.